For my son.
Good activity.
I know not why.
Alright, have fun.
He's gentle, never schooled, and yet learned, full of noble device, of all sorts, enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people who best know him, that I am altogether misprized.
I know a few people.
But it shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all. Nothing remains but that I kindle the boy thither,
And then they will.
which now I'll go about.
He gave a speech on voices, and then he asked for requests. Anybody have any requests? And then someone requested their voice. It was so funny.
Nobody requested anything.
And somebody did request. What did they request?
Bugs Bunny?
Ace Ventura or something.
Yeah, he did Ace Ventura, and he does a lot of like Simpsons, not Simpsons.
Cartoons.
Yeah.
Cartoon characters.
Oh, wow.
And then he did one where he had two
Simpsons.
characters going back and forth with each other.
Oh, that's so cool. You know who else is good with voices like that is Buzz Tennant.
Oh, yeah.
Him. Opera singer. He's a great opera singer, you know.
Yeah, he is.
But
Is he
he
here?
can do
Is he
cartoon
here now?
voices like
What
nothing.
happened to Buzz? Is he here?
He came back from Europe like 20 years ago. I think he teaches voice. He married.
He's in
Dr.
Chaminade, and he lives in Hawaii Kai.
Right.
Yeah, and I saw him
He
Thursday. What's that?
married a friend of yours.
Well, not a friend of mine, through East Germany,
Oh.
when the wall was still
Which,
Creepy,
out.
yeah.
especially during,
West Berlin.
you know, all this stuff about the vaccines possibly killing people. There's a big issue about are the coroners looking for vaccine injuries and deaths, and they're really not doing the test that would show. So there's a big push to like, okay, here's a test, get them to do it on everybody who just falls over dead for no reason.
Yeah, well, Tuscaloosa, you can't.
Anyway, don't get me started.
Yeah. So,
Vaccine injury.
if you're not sure what to
Vaccine
do.
injury and vaccine death. Yeah, all
That's so funny.
cause mortality is up.
Touchstone, I believe,
Was it? Yeah.
so I will be with
40%
you
in
tonight.
2021 and
Well,
2022.
you can if you want to lay down. I am no good
so
with
much
puppets.
tonight. We need to
say you were.
socialize.
Yeah, that's
We
true.
need like a Christmas, well, before Christmas, we need a Christmas.
You didn't get paid
Did you
for
make
it.
this? Did you make
Thanksgiving
this?
party,
I
yeah.
could wish I made it.
We missed it for
Halloween. Halloween's coming up too.
Yeah,
Monkey
Jim.
see, monkey
Jim,
do.
we're talking so much tonight. We need to have a party because
And Labor Day.
What's that again?
We need a party. We need a social, like, you know.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah, yeah.
Not Democrat
I'm
or
just
This is
thinking-
the party.
this is
That kind of party, yes.
Not Democrat or
Not
Republican.
political
No,
party.
no,
really-
not
No, not like that.
And running in the
All right, so
So
I
tell
now
us who's wrong with what.
So, Mike, you know Buzz Tennant, right?
I do.
Oh, okay.
He was my partner in, Getting Dramatic. We went to different schools together.
Oh,
We went to
Ah.
Kauai and all kinds of.
He was in Fantastics.
yes, of course he
Oh,
was.
that's
I
fabulous.
know.
That's
No,
fabulous.
They're both
but
in
that's
that.
right, of course.
Fabulous.
Bob, I forgot. No, he and I rode the train in Germany all the way through East Germany way back in 1989
Oh, my.
with a train full of soldiers, and it was scary, into Berlin. Okay, quick story, and then I'll stop. But we got into Berlin. We checked in at a cheap bed and breakfast hotel, and then we decided to walk down the main street in Berlin. It's called the Kurfürstendamm. It just like Paris, you know, with nightclubs and restaurants and whatnot. So I said, Buzz, you're only here for overnight. I'm here for 3 nights. So you get to choose where we're going to have dinner. So he said, I choose that place. And I said, Burger King? He chose Burger King to have dinner in Berlin. Never let him forget it.
I probably knew what to expect.
Yeah. No, he
Well,
was
hopefully you had
auditioned for, what's his name, the guy who used to be the opera director here. He was
Aquina.
Henry Aquina. So he auditioned for Henry Aquina there, and then Henry Aquina took us out the next day, took us out for lunch. So then Buzz took off back there, and I stayed for the 3 or 4 more days doing research. It was scary. I went behind the wall. I went to East Berlin, which was scary.
Did you have to
second
sneak over
story.
the wall at midnight? Or
What's that?
Did you have to sneak over the wall at midnight? Or?
No. There's a wall. We looked over into East Berlin. I mean, there was that, the space between the two. But once you go to East Berlin, you had to be out before midnight. So you could only stay there one day.
Oh, I'm surprised you could even go.
Well, I did.
I thought I was
Story number 3,
stop, but I guess people could go back and forth.
5 o'clock.
I don't know. We had to be up by midnight. And
Ready?
2 East German
Yes.
soldiers got.
One is ready. She wants to go home early.
Probably wants to go home.
So anyway,
Nobody else wants to go home.
okay, I'm ready. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
That was 3 stories, you know. He's
Okay.
going to sell his memoirs to you in later.
No.
Okay, As You Like It is got a whole scene, first scene that is just everybody on Orlando's side fighting with him. We don't need that when we can go straight to Rosalind, Cecilia, and her problem. So if you're curious what happens, you've all read the story before. I don't know that you really need to know. Oliver sets up the wrestler to fight Orlando in hopes he kills him so that he doesn't have to pay him anymore. It doesn't work. So Adam and he decide to go to leave all the fortunes and go to the forest where the old Duke is residing. The new Duke is still in the castle. Frederick and, what did I say his name was? Frederick, oh here, wait a minute, I can tell you. Frederick is the one.
There's Duke Senior and Duke Frederick.
Yes. Oh, okay,
Frederick is the usurper.
yes.
He's the dick.
And he's gonna play both of them. Schizoid.
Yeah, thanks.
Bad guy.
But we're going to start with a little bit of music with
What act are we in?
Act 1, Scene 2. The 2 young ladies are talking to each
So have
other.
they already wrestled to this point?
Oh no, they have.
Alright, should I read Celia?
You've got Rosalind, you've got the other parts.
Yes, okay.
And you may end up getting the other parts.
All right.
Because there's Phoebe and Audrey.
There's a lot, so there's only 2.
What?
Well, it's about time. It's about time.
Yeah.
May I say?
I'm not threatened by that.
This is like Love Celebrity Cause all over again.
And he lives in Hawaii Kai.
Right.
Yeah.
And I saw him on Thursday. What's
He
that?
married a friend of yours.
Well, not a friend of mine.
Act 1, Scene 2.
I pray thee, Roseline, sweet my cousin, be married.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were marrier? Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with a full
Loudly.
that I love thee.
Gotta record
If my
it.
uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hadst been still with me. I could have taught my love to take thy father from mine, so wouldest thou, if the truth of thy love to me were so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have. And truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honor I will, and when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet rose, my dear rose, be married.
From henceforth I will cause and devise sports. Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Marry, I pray thee, do to make sport withal, but love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport, neither than with safety of a pure blush thou mayest in honor come off again.
What shall be our sport then?
Let us sit and mock the good wife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we would do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced, and the bountiful blind woman doth most mistake her gifts to women.
'Tis true, for those that she makes fair, she scarce make honest, and those that she makes honest, she makes it very ill favorably.
Nay, now thou goest from Fortune's office to Nature's. Fortune reigns in gifts of the world, not in the lineaments of nature.
No, when nature hath made a fair creature, may she not by fortune fall into the fire? Though nature hath given us wit to flaunt, and fortune hath not, fortune sent this fool to cut off the argument.
Indeed, there is fortune too hard for nature, and fortune makes nature's natural, the cutter off of nature's wit.
Peradventure, this is not fortune's work neither, but nature's, who perceive our natural wits to dull to reason of such goodness, and hath sent it is natural for our wheatstone, for always the dullness of the fool is the wheatstone of the wits. How now, wit, whither wander you?
Oh, mistress, you must come away to your father.
Where you made the messenger?
No, but my honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Who learned you that oath, fool?
A certain knight who swore by his honor that they were good pancakes, and swore by his honor that the mustard was not. Now, I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the mustard was good, and yet was not the knight forsworn.
I'll prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge.
Ay, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand before both now. Stroke your chins and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards of, if we had them, thou art.
Oh, by my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any, or if he had sworn it away before ever he saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Pretty, who is that thou meanest?
What that old Frederick your father loves?
My father's love is enough to honor him enough. Speak no more of him. You will be whipped for taxation of one of these days.
Oh, the more pity that fools don't speak wisely than what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest truth, for since the little wit that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Here comes Monsieur Legault,
With his mouth full of news.
which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young.
Then shall we be news crammed.
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Monsieur Legault, what's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport of what color?
What color, madame? How shall I answer you?
As wit and fortune will.
Or as the destiny's decrees.
Well said, that it was laid on the
Nay, if I keep not my rank.
Thou losest thou old smell.
You amaze me, ladies. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Yet tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may see the end. for the best is yet to do, and here, where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, I'm thinking that is dead and buried.
They're here. There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills on their necks, be it known unto all men by these presents.
The eldest of the 3. La la la. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles, in a moment, threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, and there is a little hope of life in him. So he served the second, and so the third. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over them, that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Those men may grow wiser every day. It is the first time that I heard breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Or I promised you.
But is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and if they are ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure, they're coming. Let us now stay and sing
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin, are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you cannot move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Do so. I'll not be by. Monsieur, the challenger, the princess calls for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he is the general challenger. I come but in, as others do, to try to win with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too old for the years. You have seen proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes, or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would counsel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. Your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke, that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein, if I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me, the world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place, which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine to bring out hers.
Very well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your hearts deserve me with you.
Come, where is this young gallant that desires to lie with his mother earth?
Ready, sir, but his will hath in it more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
No, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second, that have no mightily persuaded him from the first.
And you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before, but come your ways.
Now, Hercules, be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Oh, excellent young man.
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who shoot down.
No more! No more!
Yes, I beseech your grace. I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles? He cannot speak, my lord. Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed. Hast thou descended from another house? But fare thee well. Thou art a gallant youth, and I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, cause would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I before known this young man, his son, I should have given him tears and to entreaties, ere he should have thus had ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father rough and envious dispositions takes me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved if you do keep your promise in love, but justly, as you have exceeded the promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me, one out of suits with fortune that could give but more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, coz?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentleman.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a quintain, a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Do you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown. Oh, Charles, or something weaker masters thee.
Oh, good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendations, true applause and love, yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is indeed more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you, sir, and pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that was here at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners. But yet, indeed, the shorter is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, who loves are dearer than the natural bond of sisters. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath taken displeasure against the gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues, and pity her for her good father's sake. And, on my life, his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounden to you. Fare you well. This must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother. Scene 3, a room in the palace, enter Celia and Rosalind.
Why, cousin, why, Rosalind? Cupid have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curse. Throw some of them at me. Come, lay me with reasons.
Then there were two cousins laid up, when the one should be lamed with reasons, and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day world.
They are but birds, cousin. Throw upon thee in holiday foolery if we walk not in the trodden paths. Our very petticoats will catch them.
I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
I would try if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, come, wrestle with thy affections.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, good wish upon you. You will try in time, in despite of all fall, but turning these just out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible on such a sudden and you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke my father loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensure that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that. And do you love him because I do? Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste, and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if thou beest found so near a public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream or be not frantic, as I do trust I am not, then dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors, if their purgation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then good, my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed here for your sake. Else had she, with her father, ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her. But now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We still have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoever we went, like Juno's swans, still we went coupled and inseparable.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she's gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is thy doom, for which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live without of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honor, and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee. Be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin, greedy, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosaline lacks then the love which teaches thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No, let my father seek another heir. Therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us, and do not seek to take your charge upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and lead me out. For by this heaven, now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst. I will go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will be to us, maids as we are, to travel so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirk on my face, the like you do, so shall we pass along and never stir a sailing.
Were it not better, because I am more than common tall, that I did suit me all points like a man, a gallant hurdle axe upon my thigh, a boar spear in my hand, and in my heart lie there what hidden women's fear their will have a swashing and a marshal outside, as many other mannish cowards have, that do outface it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse name than Jove's own page, and therefore look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath reference to my stay no longer Celia, but Elliot.
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He will go along o'er the wide world with me, leave me alone to you, and let's away, and get our jewels and our wealth together, devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now, go with me in content to library and not to banishment.
Meanwhile, in the forest.
Act 2, Scene 1. Forest of Ardennes. Enter Duke Senior, Amiens, and 2 or 3 lords like foresters.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we not the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chidings of the winter's wind. Hello? What? So what the fuck is going on?
The forest, you know.
The icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, and I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are consolers that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the users of adversary, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life exempt from public haunt finds tongues in trees and books, in the running brooks, sermons and stones, and good in everything.
I will not change it. Happy is your grace that will translate the stubbornness of fortune into such a quiet and so sweet a style.
Shall we not go and kill us venison? And yet it irks me, the poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have their rounded haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jacques grieves at that, and in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today the Lord of Amiens and myself, my eyes, behind him, and he lay along under an oak whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that brawls in this wood, and to the which is placed a poor sequestered stag that from the hunter's aim had ta'en a hurt, did come to languish, and indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase. And thus the hairy fool, much marked out of the melancholy Jacques, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
But what said Jacques? Did he not moralize this spectacle?
Oh, yes, unto 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless streams. Poor dear, quoth he, thou makest a testament as worthiest as worthlings do, and giving thy sum of more to that which had not too much, that being there alone, left and abandoned by his velvet friends, 'tis right, quoth he, and thus my misery doth part the flux of company anon, careless herd, full of the pasture, lumps along by him, and never stays to greet him. Why, quoth Jacques, sweep on, you are fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon that poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus must instinctively he pierceth through the body of the country, city, and court, and yet, even in this our life, swearing that we are more usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and to kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting on the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he's full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
See to a room in the palace. Enter Duke Frederick with lords.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court are of consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any of the see her. The ladies, her attendants in her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early they found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, the Roynish clown, at whom so oft your grace was wont to laugh, is also missing. Hesperia, the princess gentlewoman, confesses that she secretly overheard your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of the wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles, and, she believes, wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. If he be absent, bring his brother to me. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not search and inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Scene 3, before Oliver's house, enter Orlando and Adam meeting. Who's there?
Oh, my young master, oh, my gentle master, oh, my sweet master, oh, your memory of old Sir Roland. Why, what make you here? Why are you virtuous, and I, the gentle, love you? Oh, wherefore you are gentle and strong and valiant. Oh, why would you be so fond to overcome the bony praiser of the humorous Duke? Your praise is somewhat too swiftly come before you. Know you not, master, some kind of men, their graces serve them, but as enemies, do no more than do yours. Your virtues, your gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. Why, what a world is this when his comedy envenoms him that bears it?
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother? No, brother, yet the son, yet not the son. I will not call him son of him that I was about to call his father, hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the house, the lodging wherein you used to lie, and you within it. And if he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. I overheard him and his practices. Oh, this is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhorrent. Fear it. Do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
Oh, no matter whither, so you come not here.
What, would you have me go and beg my food, or with a base and boisterous sword enforce the thievish living on the common road? This I must do, or know not what to do, yet this I will not do. Do how I can. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
Oh, but do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thirsty hire I saved under your father, and which I have stored to be my foster nurse, which service should in my old limbs lie lame and unregarded age in a corner is thrown. Take that, and he that doth the ravens feed. Yes, providently eaters for the sparrow, and yet be comfort to my age. Here's the gold, and all this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty, and in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did not with unbashful forehead woo the means of weakness and debility. Therefore, my age is as a lusty winter, frosty, but kindly. Let me go with you. I'll be the services of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man. How well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, when service sweat for duty, not for me. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat but for promotion, and having that, do choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee, but, poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains in husbandry. But come thy ways. We'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on. I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost 80. Here lived I, but now live here no more. As 17 years, many their fortunes seek, but as 80, it is too late a week. And yet fortune cannot recompense me better than to lie well and not my master's debtor.
Scene 4, the forest of Ardennes. Enter Rosalind for Ganymede, Celia for Aliena, and Touchstone.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits.
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and to cry like a woman. But I must comfort the weaker vessel, as doublet and hose ought to show itself courageous to petticoat. Therefore, courage, good Aliena.
I pray you bear with me. I can go no further.
Oh, for my part, I had rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cost if I did bear you, for I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden, the more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so good, Touchstone. Look you who comes here, a young man and an old and solemn talk.
That is the way to make her scorn you still.
Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guess, for I have loved her now.
Oh, Corin, being old thou canst not guess, though in thy youth thou wast a true a lover, as ever sighed upon the midnight pillow. But if thy love ever were ever like to mine, as I should think I did I never man's love so. Oh, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
In 2,000 have I forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then never love so heartily, if thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever did love make thee run unto, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing thy hair in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe.
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for coming a night to Jane's smile. And I remember the kissing of her backflower and the cow's dugs that her pretty chopped hands had milked. And I remember the wooing of a peace card instead of her, from whom I took 2 cards and giving her them again, and said with weeping tears, "Swear these for my sake." We that are true lovers run into strange capers, but as all is mortal in nature, so is all in nature in love with mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, I shall never be aware of mine own wit till I break my shins against it.
Jove, Jove, the shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you.
But I pray you, whenever you question young man, if he for gold will give us any food, I faint almost to death.
Ah, you clown!
Peaceful is not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
He'll he be very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friends.
Oh, and to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place by entertainment bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed, and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her, but I am a shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. My master is of a churlish disposition, and little recks of the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flocks, his bounds of feed are now on sale, and at once our sheepcote now, and reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
What is he that shall buy his flock and pasture?
Why, the young swain that you had just saw here ere while, and little cares for buying anything.
I pray thee, if it stands with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wags. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me, and if you like, on report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will be your very faithful feeder bee, and buy it with your gold right certainly.
Scene 5, the forest. Enter Amiens, Jacques, and others.
The song.
Yes, it's a
Under
song.
the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note until the bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. There shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather. More. Come on, Jake, please. Yes, I am. More, I really more. It will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques. I think I prithee more, I suck melancholy from this song as weasels suck eggs. More, I prithee more. My voice is rugged, I cannot please you. I do not desire to please you, I do desire to sing more, another stanza. Can you call them stanzas? What you will, Monsieur Jacques. Nay, I cannot for the next. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More than your request
Thank
and
you.
to my please myself.
Okay. Well then, if ever I thank any man, I thank you. But they call compliment is like the encounter of two dog apes. And when a man thanks me heartily, methinks I have given him a penny, and he renders me the beggarly thanks. Come, sing, and you that will not will hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sirs, cover the while the Duke will drink under that tree, and he hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. But I think as many matters, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, warble, come. Without ambition, like sun and love to sing. Everybody get to see the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall you see no enemy, both winter and rough weather. I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in spite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Thus it goes. If it do come to pass that any man turn ass, living his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, to tend, to clean, to clean. Here shall he see, fools as he, and yet he will come to me.
What's this Dudami?
Oh, it is a Greek adventure I should call Fools in a Circle. I'll go asleep if I can. If I cannot, I will rail against the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Scene 6, the forest, enter Orlando and Adam.
Dear master, I can go no farther. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, my kind master.
I am now Adam, no greater heart than thee. Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it or bring it for food to thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake be comfortable. Hold death a while at an arm's end, and I will be here with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Well said, thou lookest cheerly, and now do with thee quickly. Yet thou liest in the bleak air. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. If there live anything in this desert, cheerly, good Adam. Scene 7, the forest. Table set out, enter Duke Senior, amends, and lords like outlaws.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man.
My lord, he is but even now gone hence. Here was he merry, hearing of a song.
If he, compact of jaws, grew musical, we shall have shortly discord in the spheres. Go seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
He serves my labors by this own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this, that your poor friends must woo your company? What, you look merrily.
Oh, no, a fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest! A motley fool! A miserable world, as I do live by food. I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms. In good set terms, and yet a motley fool. Good morning, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not fool till heaven hath set me fortune. And then he threw a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, said very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. Just but an hour ago it was 9, and after 1 hour more it will be 11. And from hour to hour we ripe and ripe, and from hour to hour we rot and rot. The motley fool sees more all the time, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear my love begin to grow like Chanticleer, the fool should be so deep, contemplative, and I did laugh, sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, noble fool, worthy fool, motley is the only wear.
What fool is this?
Oh, worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have a gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as a remainder of biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious of the motley coat for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
Well, it is my only suit. Provided that you weave your better judgments of all opinions that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty, withal, to charge a large charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most galled with my folly, they most must laugh. And why, sir, must they so? The why is as plain as the way to parish church. He that a fool doth very wisely, yet doth very foolishly, although he be smart, not seem senseless of the bomb. If not, the wise man's folly is anatomized even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest in me, my motley. Give me leave to speak my mind, and I will go through, cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Now, fie on thee, I can tell what thou wouldst do.
What, for Acanto, would I do but good?
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin. For thou thyself hast been a libertine, as sensual as the brutish sting itself, and all the embossed souls and headed eagles that thou with license of free foot hath caught, wouldst thou disgorge into the general world.
Why, who cries out in pride that does therein tax any private party? Doth it not flow as hugely as the sea, till that very means do ebb? What woman in the city do I name, when that I say the city woman bears the cost of princes on unworthy shoulders? Who can come in and say that I mean her, when such a one as she, such is her neighbor? Or that he the basis function that says that bravery is not of my cost, thinking that I mean him, but therein suits his folly to the metal of my speech? Well, there then. How then? What then? Let me see wherein my tongue has wronged him. If it do him right, then he hath wronged himself. If he be free, why then my taxing like a wild goose flies, unclaimed of any man. Oh, but who comes here?
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Thou shalt not till necessity be served.
What kind should this cock come off?
Art thou thus emboldened, man, by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemest so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of bare distress hath ta'en from me the show of smooth civility. Yet am I inland bred, and know some of nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, and that in this desert inaccessible, under the shade of melancholy boughs, lose and neglect the creeping hours of time. If ever you have looked on better days, if ever been where bells have knolled to church, if ever sat at any good man's feast, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I'd blush and hide my soul.
True it is that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have, that to you wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little whiles like a doe I go to find my fawn and give it food. There is an old poor man who after me hath many a weary step limped in pure love, till he be first sufficed, oppressed with two weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till your return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play it.
Well, all the world's a stage. All the men and women needed players. They had their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his act being 7 ages. At first the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with a satchel and shining horny face, creeping like snail, unwillingly to school. And then the lover. To school, and then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. And then the soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the pard, jealous and honest, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, bare on belly with good cape and mind, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved wool too wide for this shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again to his childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sense teeth, sense eyes, sense tastes, sense everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
Or so had you need. I scarce can speak to you. Thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousin, sing. Blow, blow. Is this me? Blow, cousin, Indians. Blow, blow the winter wind, thou art not so unkind. Stands in gratitude, thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hey ho, sing hey ho, until the green holly, most friendship obtaining, most your folly. Then hey ho the holly, this life is most jolly. Freeze and thou better sky, thou dost not bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Oh, how waters warp, the sting is not so sharp, our friend not remembered not. Hey ho, sing hey ho until the green holly, friendship is feigning, most loving, more folly. Then hey ho the holly, is life is most jolly. Why did I sing that? It's supposed to be sung to me.
That's your
If
singing.
that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, as mine eye doth his effigies witness, most truly limbed and living in your face, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. The residue of your fortune, go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art welcome, right welcome, as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Act 3, Scene 1, a room in the palace.
Let's take the break.
Let's take a break.
Here's 6 o'clock. Amazing what we can do when
Act 3, Scene 1, a room in the palace. Featuring important dwarves and